Welcome to Forensic Friday.
where we examine the intersection of true crime, psychology, and the heart of being human in the middle of it all. Hello.
I'm present.
You're present. We could do this, Nat. Okay, so here's the irony. I was just downstairs and I did this whole outline and I was real proud of myself. It's a great episode. Y'all are going to love it. And then I clicked out because ADHD and doing 80 things at once. I come back and it's gone. Disappears. Whole thing. Whole episode that I'd been working on disappears completely.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, Garrett! Poor Garrett. Garrett comes in and I hear Mac and Garrett in the other room going, are you going to help her with that? Are you going to help her with that? Like they're like laughing. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
absolutely not. So then I told Garrett, I was like, if you don't help me, I'm going to put my computer through the wall. Like, that's where we're at. This is how I'm feeling. And he looked at me like I had 3 heads. So here's our topic today.
Janine, that's a new computer.
The biology of breaking points. Yes, it is a new computer, which is why I did not do that. I also have not been writing evals in the bathtub because I don't have an old computer anymore.
Oh my God.
With my old computer, I put the little wood thing, it's great. Loved it. Okay, so here's what we're talking about today. We are doing Lindsay Clancy part 2 on Friday because we still have a whole bunch of stuff left to discuss. Yeah. And because of my intermittent rage, isn't that an intermittent explosive disorder? I might be on the verge of that. Because of my irritation over small things the past couple of weeks, and then seeing this hormonally driven mental health episode that our buddy Lindsay Clancy had, poor thing, sad all the way around, right?
It's nuts.
I'm like, okay, we're going to talk about hormones. We got to talk about hormones, and not just hormones. Like if you're a man listening and you're like, oh, here we go. We're going to talk about hot flashes. No. Lifespan, hormones across the lifespan. So, you ready? Buckle up.
As always.
Bye, forensic friends.
Bye, forensic friends. They're like, what's happening?
No, I know. Okay. We spend our lives believing that people change slowly, that time heals all wounds. False. Therapy helps, though. And that age mellows us out and gives us wisdom. Okay? But true crime tells a darker story. What happens when the human brain spends 20 years marinating in a slow burn grudge? What happens when a middle-aged hormonal crash strips away our chemical filters? Or when a teenager's unbuilt prefrontal cortex meets a snap decision? This is like why sometimes our hormones at different points in our life, men and women, so men, you are not like immune from this, okay, have an outsized impact on our behavior. So this episode has important things for parenting, relationships, middle age, grandparents. There's something for everybody in this one. Wonderful. What do you think, Nat? You on board with some hormone dissection over here?
I feel like we did this for our women's talk 3 years ago, but we didn't focus on it from a broader perspective.
No, and not men, too. So we teach some really important things to our men's groups about how to cool off and the differences between men and women. And we've mentioned a few of them in episodes here and there, but it's been a bit since we've talked about it. So the very first place I want to start is our teenagers. And do you have any teenage, you had a teenage nephew. He's older now.
Yeah, he's 22.
My nieces are in their hormones big time. I have a 10-year-old boy who's starting to, get into it a little bit. He's a ways off, but he's starting. Like I can just see little differentiation, a little frustration, just stuff. So what happens in a teenage brain is like a tinderbox. It's just hot.
Yeah.
It is hot and messy, and it does not always make sense. And
Mm-hmm.
both boys and girls can be really volatile, but in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk so much about the prefrontal cortex, right? So we have the brain that is trying to organize itself around consistent information.
Mm.
So the prefrontal cortex is like trying to crystallize desperately, and everything's moving around like crazy, right?
Right.
And this really goes on until age 25, give or take a few years, depending on what research you're reading. Women mature faster, but the brain is still in development for quite some time for both sexes.
Mm-hmm.
The amygdala hijack is what we teach in our groups, but it talks about how the amygdala is something that will detect a threat and throw our brain into an emotional space where we can't access reason.
Mm-hmm.
This is hyper reactive in adolescent because of the surging hormones. That's why everything feels like life or death all the time.
Yeah.
Testosterone in boys surges by up to 800 to 1,000%
Dang.
over baseline childhood levels.
That's wild.
This is why teenage boys like Mac every once in a while will run up. He's not quite a teen yet, but he's ginormous. He will run at me and give me a hug, and everything he's doing is getting physical.
Mm.
And then we laugh because our little pit bull bear is kind of like anywhere from a toddler to a teenager, but he
Mm-hmm.
will run up and just like punch Garrett. Like he just jumps up on Garrett. And we laugh about how that's the middle school equivalent of like boys tapping the top of a door frame just because they
Mm-hmm.
can.
Mm-hmm.
Like boys are just
Mm-hmm.
moving. Mac is always moving, always,
Mm-hmm.
always moving. So what happens when the testosterone is shooting up like that? Because we talk so much about girls, when that testosterone's going up in boys, it amplifies fight or flight,
Mm.
status seeking, like competition, and physical reactivity. So this is where sometimes they get hyper competitive, explosive, aggressive, break rules, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens a lot of times is parents want to manage them,
Mm.
and we get in a power struggle with a boy who is hardwired to fight right now.
Right.
This is not going to go well. And as parents try to take power back, they're like, oh, who do you think you're talking to? This kind of thing, which I understand on a cellular
Mm-hmm.
level. But when we do that, the male brain locks into this defensive loop because their hormones are literally like, oh, I just need to take it up a level. Well,
Yeah.
you're this, then I'm going to go here.
Yeah.
Right. And we see this quite a bit, especially fathers and sons. There can be a lot of struggle
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Right. So then girls, we talk so much more about girls and adolescents, but they have a little bit more maturity sooner in their brain
Mm-hmm.
chemistry. They also develop some pretty incredible social evaluation networks, but those develop faster than their emotional regulation circuits. Mhm.
Well, I
So
mean,
we're
it makes sense,
managing
but yes.
people. Well, you know what I mean? We're managing
Yeah.
people before we can handle them dealing with us.
Right.
You know what I mean? So girls
Yeah.
will be like, savage. I came out of the dressing room. I went back to school shopping with the
Mm-hmm.
kids over the weekend. So I take the girls and we go shopping, which is like my happy place. I will sit
Mm-hmm.
in the dressing room with them forever. It's so fun. They come out and this adorable like 22-year-old girl who's working in this store comes in with all these options and whatever. And I look at her and I'm like, that dress is so cute. Like, hey, wouldn't you? I said to one of my nieces, this might be a good dress for school. She's like, no. I was like, you are a savage. Like, she's just ripping people up one side and down the other, not meaning to. She's lovely, but she's just real honest and then can get
Mm-hmm.
very flooded very fast. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the 21-year-old was like, or 21, 22-year-old was like, it's fine. Like, you're cool for like 2 minutes and then you're old. You know, that's just how that works. And I'm like, who are you telling? You're like
That's so
22, you know, I'm
right.
whatever.
Like you should be so cool.
Her face was so adorable. She was just like, well, okay. I mean, like she's seen this before. I was like, oh
Right.
dear God, that
Well,
hurt.
she's also a woman, so she's been there.
She is. She totally is. So
Hmm.
estrogen and progesterone heavily modulate our serotonin and dopamine. So what that means is
Hmm.
as these things are going up in a woman week to week, every week is different. Even day to
Right.
day is different. Our distress levels go up and down with those hormonal levels, and it heightens
Hmm.
our vulnerability to rejection and social
Mm.
stress. So when your daughters come home and they're a puddle because a girl at school looked at them weird and they're sure it's about them, this is real. And when you're like, "Oh my
Hmm.
God, like you're fine, get over it." You're really minimizing this like real painful thing that's happening for them,
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
even though it's hard.
Hmm.
It's hard to listen to. It's hard to care about sometimes. It matters to them a lot,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
they literally crash out. And the kids this weekend, they're so hilarious because they get hungry, like desperately hungry. So we have to
Yeah.
anticipate because the adults aren't always thinking about it. The
Hmm.
girls will murder each other if they don't get food. Murder.
Oh my
They
gosh.
get so mad and they turn right on each other. The crash out is real. They're like different children. Mac
That's
becomes
hilarious.
despondent. So if Mac doesn't get
Hmm.
food, he's like, everything is terrible and it'll never be good again. But he's not
Oh my.
aggressive. And the girls are like, "Ba-da-da-ba-da-da-da." And I'm like racing to
Hmm.
Starbucks, like lead foot, shoving a breakfast sandwich in their mouth. Like that is what it takes to calm these people down. Okay. So we know that when all of this stuff's happening with adolescents, we're going to see sudden acts of violence, reactivity, um, sometimes weird behaviors like stalking, yelling. You may not know what house you're walking into if you have teenagers at
Hmm.
home. So we're used to that, right?
Hmm. I mean,
Can
I don't
you?
have teenagers, but we're used to that in other ways, I guess.
Well, I mean, toddlers are a little bit teenagery in some ways,
Ugh. Oh my
you
gosh.
know? So
Yeah.
tell me, can you remember a particularly interesting hormonal crash out that you ever had? Like, can you
I
think
had
of
them, yeah, frequently. Well,
constant? I mean, we still do, but I'm talking about as a teenager. I'm in a new season of this, which we'll get to, but
like where I was really emotional because of
yes.
something that happened.
Well, maybe something that happened, but then the hormones took it to another level.
We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Southeast Counseling Center. Southeast Counseling Center is a 501c3 nonprofit mental health provider right here in Parker, Colorado, conveniently located just off major highways. We serve the whole family, from play therapy for kids to couples and family therapy, trauma treatment, psychological testing, and specialized groups. Access matters. That's why Southeast Counseling Center accepts Medicaid, TriWest, and victim compensation, and also offers a community subsidy program to help people who fall in the gap between Medicaid and traditional insurance coverage. And because we're a nonprofit, every dollar donated by the community goes directly towards providing treatment services for people who need help. Prefer to meet at home? Telehealth is available statewide so anyone in Colorado can access our services. To get started, call 720-842-5553 or fill out our secure web inquiry form at secounseling.org. Southeast Counseling Center, care that is accessible, compassionate, and rooted in the community. Oh, I mean, yeah, like I grew up in a small mountain town and the girls would like turn on you within like a second. So,
And what's the difference when you're hormonal versus just like, I mean, teenage girls are hormonal every damn day. It just depends what
well,
hormones are
that's what I was gonna
surging.
say. It's like when you're a teenager, it's all so new and your body's like trying to figure itself out. So everything's terrible all the time. Now, obviously, like as an adult,
Hmm.
during certain times of the month, right? It's easier to be more sensitive, but it's less frequent like when you're a teenager.
Yes.
Like when you're a teenager, it's like 24/7 of sensitivity, you know?
What's your most consistent across your lifespan PMS issue? Like like emotional, or you know what I mean, where it's like, oh, what's your tell that maybe you're hormonal before you know you're hormonal? Like the one
Oh,
your
I
husband would
cry.
know.
I cry
Yes.
all the time.
You're
I
right.
cry. I cry. I will sob during Frozen. Sob. Like ugly tears coming down when I'm watching Frozen.
Do you have to have a cause, or does it just like come out of nowhere?
No, I mean it's like the depressing Disney stuff that why millennials are also depressed, you know?
Well, we have lots of
Um,
reasons to be depressed. We've been living in one crisis after another.
well that, but I mean we grew up watching Disney movies where the parents die all the time. So
That's true. Oh, that's so true.
so bad. So like, yeah, I think that's so if there's anything that involves like losing someone or
Mm.
whatever, then I'm just like wrecked. But I mean, it's like a cartoon, you know. I'm not
Oh,
watching like Marley and Me.
mm. I get like despair
Mm.
for like one day, but it's only
Hmm.
one day, and it sneaks up on me every time.
Hmm.
And I'll be like, everything is terrible and we're done.
So you're like Mac.
100%. It is despair. And then I'll cry some, but then I get real tired and Garrett's like, and then I go to bed and I'm fine. I wake
Oh
up and I'm
yeah.
fine. I'm me again.
Yeah, I also get super tired.
Oh, so tired. So tired.
Hmm. Hmm.
So let's talk about then what happens with a little bit with pregnancy and postpartum. And I'm not going to get into a ton of this just because we really do have this in the episode and we're going to unpack it even more.
Hmm.
But what we know with pregnancy in particular is we have significant shifts at different points. So your
Hmm.
hormones, when you find out you're pregnant, are different than 12 weeks, are different than when you go into your third trimester. Then you have the baby and everything changes. Like literally that shaking,
Hmm.
all that stuff that happens when you have a baby, your hormones are just radically changing.
Yeah.
And then if you're breastfeeding or pumping, you got those hormones. And then when those hormones come out, right, then that's another big shift and assimilation. And so when we're talking about what women experience, they're all so different,
Hmm.
so different. But I don't know any women that haven't had some kind of a disruption postpartum,
Oh yeah.
you know? And I
Yeah.
think particularly, and you've shared this on the pod, but when you stop breastfeeding,
Mm.
that's the one that I think catches people the most by
Hmm.
surprise because you're kind of like you're teetering down a little bit usually for a time and they start on
Hmm.
solid foods and stuff, but then when the bottom drops out of that, it's really
Hmm.
hard.
Yeah.
And people don't
Yeah. No,
really talk about that enough.
the whole process of being pregnant, postpartum, all of it's a wild ride.
Absolutely. So, the next shift. This is one that makes me want to throw my computer. The pressure cooker of middle age. Okay.
Hmm.
So when we talk about midlife, a lot of people think of it as like a plateau until you hit like perimenopause and that's quick and then menopause. But it is
Hmm.
actually like over a decade of changes for women in
Right.
particular. Men also, though, there is pretty severe transitions happening hormonally
Mm.
and psychologically that are really
Hmm.
hard in marriage. So when you think about having a baby and all of that, so much pressure on a marriage, so much. The
Hmm.
hormones are hard, but it is largely happening to one of the people.
Hmm.
Right. And so if you are in a supportive relationship, there's usually some level of patience, I hope sincerely for our listeners, that you
Yeah.
have a patient, supportive partner who is not
Yeah.
also in the throes of a hormonal crisis.
Right.
Middle age, it's not an equalizer, I'll tell you right now. Women, still worse. But there is a lot happening for men and women during this
Hmm.
time. And it's one of the things that can contribute to domestic violence and divorce,
Hmm.
right? Because
Hmm.
during this time, men have a really steady, slow, natural decline in total testosterone of like 1% a year, starting at age 30. And the thing about this is it's different for every man, just like it's different for every woman, how quickly those levels go down. And one of the things that's interesting is low testosterone does not equal passivity, especially in middle-aged men. But it is associated with increased anxiety, sleep issues, chronic fatigue, and some hyperreactivity can come because it's a little bit of an up and down that they can have, right? Because men are culturally trained to mask vulnerability as anger. Middle-aged men often misdirect their internal physiological distress because this is their first crack at it. We've been feeling weird since we were 11. They're starting to feel different and they're not allowed to be vulnerable about it, right? And it feels vulnerable and they don't feel right physically. Their careers start to plateau, right? Their partners are super stressed. Their kids are pushing back. Maybe they have, teenage kids are in their 40s or 50s, like life is getting very stressful. And men are starting to have these shifts. And it's mostly just going down, right? So the part that we don't talk about hardly ever with men is they can suddenly have unexpected volatile outbursts. They've just had it. They've had it. And the women in their lives are frequently a little bit more critical than normal because they're going through what I'm going to describe in a minute. But men are just getting pushed in every way. And they're trying to you typically make the most money you're going to make between like 40 and 50. So they're trying so hard to level up, maybe 55, 45 to 55, somewhere in there. But you're trying to peak in your career and you're starting to not feel as good. You're not feeling as powerful. And here come these kids out of school or these 30-year-olds are starting to move up. And there's this intense pressure that starts to happen, right? Well, this runs right into a woman's perimenopausal rage, which could be 4 to 8, as long as like 12 to 15 years, depending on the speed with which your hormones change.
Dang.
This can be, and I can testify, wildly erratic, unpredictable fluctuations in estrogen and progesterone before they crash. So estrogen directly regulates your serotonin and dopamine. This is why I had high estrogen, hysterectomy, boom, ADHD, like nuts, because my estrogen changed and everything felt different pretty much overnight. And I still have my ovaries. So you can imagine if you have women in your life who've had a full radical hysterectomy that throws them into menopause, or maybe they have cancer and they're on medications that are turning off their hormones. Oh my God, these people. I just have so much more empathy. You can't understand it until you go through it, but it's a terrible feeling.
Right.
A terrible feeling.
Yes.
Behaviorally, when your estrogen crashes and your brain's not working quite as well, and you're in the stress of middle age, right? And you've spent decades managing invisible emotional labor and suppressing all of these micro resentments for all the things, what your body's been through, what your little heart's been through, what's going on in your families, all of that. You have an intolerance for stress. You just start to not want to deal with it at all. It will make you so pissed. And the physiological shift, this is a funny analogy, but hang in there with me. Relationally, it's like taking a match to a dry forest in a relationship.
Oh gosh.
Right? Because decades of potentially unreciprocated emotional labor that even a good man can leave emotional labor in the hands of their partner, partially because of just how we're socialized and what's expected of us.
Yeah.
Collides with a brain that has lost its chemical capacity to tolerate friction. This is where a lot of our big middle-aged fights happen. And one of the things that happened, even with my parents, we still laugh about it. My mom's always been the opinionated one. God bless you, Tina. She's a legend. My dad was pretty chill. When they hit this point, my dad came out of the woodwork with an opinion a minute. The man, and it has not slowed down. He has opinions. Never used to have an opinion. Turned out he had an opinion all those years. He just wasn't saying what that opinion was. They all came out at once. I think it was like one big fight, to be honest. And now my mom's actually really chill. My dad is chill. He's more chill too, but he has opinions.
Yeah.
I anticipate this with Garrett. I already know. It's coming, and I will accept it. Radical acceptance, because I have earned it.
Yes. Well, and you have opinions about everything. So he gets some at some point.
He does too, but
He just doesn't
he
say
only
them
knows what
as
he doesn't
much.
like. But he won't tell me what he likes. But I know this is going to happen. But if you're in middle age and you can conceptualize, particularly I think for women and men be compassionate towards your partners. And I've seen some really great videos where men are kind of explaining what their wife's going through, and it's really sweet. As women, I think if we can have some understanding that we're not the only ones going through hormonal issues during this age and feeling pressure, I think if both people can be kind and compassionate to each other, you can build some like a really strong foundation, and you need each other in this season of your life desperately. But you have to come kind with some understanding that your partner's also dealing with a lot.
Right.
And we're used to our brains being hijacked. Men are not. So imagine if the thing that makes you feel powerful and energetic and capable starts to dwindle, and maybe you're not quite as strong as you used to be. That's actually stressful.
Yeah.
Really genuinely stressful.
Yeah.
Right?
Your body doesn't work the same way. Yeah.
100%. If you don't take care of each other, we get the slow burn grudge. This is where two people are just collecting issues. Like they are just putting them in their little pot and watching it boil. Right? And what tends to happen is a low grade, almost constant anger. And when that happens, and we've worked with couples in this situation, after like 3 to 6 months, okay, of this kind of pressure, if you just don't tend to your relationship and you just let this stuff build up, right? And you're ruminating, between 3 and 6 months, your brain literally consolidates it into the long-term storage of your memory, leaving you with a permanent emotional charge in the narrative.
Oh gosh.
Oh, I'm going to appreciate my man. I'm telling you already, I'm going to talk to him tonight. I'm sorry that I got so irritated about Gemini. That's not your problem. Thank you for helping me figure it out. If we don't tend to our relationships, it crystallizes in a really ugly way that this is now a narrative about this person.
Yes.
Right? Additionally, this is where a lot of wreckage happens between parents and kids. Because you get your teenage kids who are differentiating and building their lives. Maybe they're in their early 20s, and then it runs into a middle-aged slow burn. I've done everything for you. I've given you everything you've ever wanted. My parents didn't do this for me, and it turns into this just diabolical mess, right? In this relationship. And we see that happen quite a bit.
Yeah.
Right? In the true crime world, this can turn into a revenge plot, a life insurance adjustment, don't go hiking around the cliffs if this is your situation, that kind of stuff. Any thoughts on the midlife shifts that happen? And have you seen this in people? Like, what have you observed in yourself or in the people around you?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I don't think I'm midlife yet.
It's spoiler alert, you are, but you're still in the
I'm early. I'm still in my late early life. I'm
okay.
not 40 yet. 40's midlife.
That's okay. You're good. You're fine. That's not hormonally true, but you're right.
Well, that's probably true. That's why I'm geriatric, according to doctors.
You're still
Um,
very young, and everyone thinks you're young.
and everyone thinks I'm in my 20s. It's hilarious.
But you and your husband are going through some shifts. That's just part of being
Oh,
this age.
yes, for sure.
We're
So
not 24, 25, you know?
I see it with us. Preston already naturally has low testosterone, so that's like already a hard thing for him. He's had that for a long time, but
A lot of
um,
men do, actually.
yeah,
Lots.
yeah. No, I know. It's it's nothing to be embarrassed about, but it's
Mhm,
important to get it checked out because there's options to help you feel better.
mhm,
Um, yeah, honestly, it's not something I've really noticed, to be honest. Like I notice a little in me, but I'm
mhm,
also still postpartum.
mhm.
Like I did just stop, within the last couple months pumping and all that. And so I don't know what's midlife versus postpartum hormones, in terms of like symptoms I feel, but
Well, we were just laughing about you and your pillow. Needing a good pillow. That it's that kind of stuff. And
yes,
so what it
like you
is
actually start feeling
you
aches and
start
pains.
feeling it. And that doesn't mean
Mhm.
hormonally you're middle age. I'm not even in that point yet, but
Mhm.
the symptoms start subtly. I'm more
Mhm.
likely to notice them than you because you're also still going through postpartum.
Mhm.
But it's weird stuff like the inflammation in our bodies. That's why you get sore. Even if you're healthy and you eat great food and everything else doesn't matter, it's just your body, the way your body
Mhm.
processes that stuff. You're more likely to get sore if you sleep on the wrong pillow.
Right.
I have a sleep number bed and I can wake up sore. Like if I don't have that sucker dialed in just right, I'm going to wake up a little sore.
Mhm.
So then this leads us into the golden years,
Love
the
this.
pruned amygdala and the positivity effect. And this is really interesting. I see this in my parents. And
Mhm.
it's been really beautiful. I hung out with my mom today and we were just talking about all the little things I find myself doing and saying things that my parents have done forever, and it's good stuff. Like I'll hear myself say something and I'm like, "Oh, I learned that from my mom. Like my mom told me that." It's
Cute.
sweet. So, as people get older and they've really looked at this in different decades as well,
Mhm.
they can point to something called the positivity effect. So starting in your 60s and 70s and obviously beyond, you naturally allocate more cognitive attention to positive emotional images and memories while tuning out negative stimuli. So what this
Mhm.
means is as we get older, our brain is literally designed to sort of hone in a little more on the positive.
Mhm.
And what that does is it flattens out our cortisol a little bit. And then the amygdala shows reduced responsiveness to social provocations compared to younger age groups. So relational peace is prioritized over winning arguments much more often in this age range.
Yeah.
So we
That
laugh
makes
about,
sense.
does that make sense? It's just like a
Yeah.
mellowing. And a lot of people think it's just maturity, and it is,
Yeah.
but it is the brain that has matured in a beautiful way.
Well, I feel like when you get to that age, you just you're like the fight doesn't matter as much.
Hmm.
Like being right doesn't matter because you're like, where did that get me before? Nowhere,
Mm-mm.
you know? And
Yeah.
so that makes total sense because
Oh,
they
yeah.
like see it happening. Except when you work with couples that are probably in this,
Hmm.
but they treat each other like the stage before.
Oh, yeah. If it just keeps going, all of that kind of injustice
Yeah.
collection and
Yeah.
resentment from middle age, if you don't tend to that,
Yeah.
um, yeah, we can see some pretty nasty things happen.
Yeah.
Nat and I have two of the chillest dads around. They are amazing. They've come with us to CrimeCon to set up. Like, your dad is a gem.
Mm-hmm.
My dad is also a gem. So when I'm around your dad, he brings down my anxiety for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I can chill with your dad. I just
Yeah.
love him to pieces.
Yeah,
And
he's a
my
great
dad's the
guy.
same. They're so great.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when that's not the case is seniors can snap.
Oh
Dun
my
dun
God.
dun. I know.
Well, we did that one case where all those old guys.
We'll be right back.
If you work with court ordered clients, you already know the system can be overwhelming. Documentation, coordination, compliance tracking, billing, on top of actually doing the therapy. That's why we want to tell you about Reliatrax, a one stop platform built specifically for therapists working in the court ordered space and voluntary treatment. Reliatrax helps you stay connected with probation and referral sources so everyone's on the same page and your clients get the best care possible without the endless emails, calls, and paperwork. And here's the exciting part. Reliatrax now offers Aura, their new AI assistant. Aura helps streamline documentation, keeps you organized, and supports your workflow so you can spend less time clicking boxes and more time doing clinical work. Reliatrax also supports insurance billing, including Medicaid, making it easier to serve both court ordered and voluntary clients all in one system. No juggling platforms and no workarounds. And the other amazing thing is you have an actual team of people who can support you, not some automated system. If you're looking for a smarter, more efficient way to manage compliance, communication, and care, Reliatrax was built for this. Check out Reliatrax and see how it can support you, your clients, and the systems you work in without burning you out. You can go to www.reliatrax.com to get started. Oh, the geezers?
Yes.
They didn't really snap. They just, if you want a fun episode to listen to with the kids, the Diamond Geezers.
That one's
But the
funny.
geezers were robbing banks, you know?
That's true, yeah.
But there are, I would say, older women, and I'm going to talk about this a little more in a sec, but we have treated some older men who've been involved in DV cases for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But we have really dealt with some women. And I would say the male population skews a little younger than the female population, like
Mm-hmm.
client for client. Have you noticed that? Like it would almost be a bell curve, I would say, where we get some younger women, but a lot of the women we see are in that middle age and up. We don't get quite
You
like
mean
I would
just
say
like in
33
general?
and up in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, for DV. With men, we might get 18, 19, 20 on up to 70, but it's a little bit more front loaded.
Yeah.
Whereas the women, I think, are loaded a little more on the older
And
side. Hmm.
yeah.
And so what can happen is men may be mellowing a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and women are not always. They don't feel great. They are depleted,
Mm-hmm.
typically physically. Um, a lot of women go into menopause with anemia. They're having issues with their bone density. Like women just don't feel great. And I don't think men always feel great too, but it's different.
Mm-hmm.
Women are more likely to actually be impatient and crash than men as
Yeah.
seniors.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah. And so women are like, absolutely not if they're not managing it well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they're comparing it to a baseline that
Mm-hmm.
is different. So if you look at a man in his 60s and 70s, he probably looks a lot more mellow than he was at 30, 40, 50.
Mm-hmm.
Women, not always, because women in their 30s, 40s, and 50s are trying really hard still to
Yeah.
do all the things, be all the things, raise kids, be soft, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They hit a I don't care anymore point, right? And then we can have some big, big, big fights.
Yeah.
The other thing is caregiver burnout tends to set in late midlife.
Hmm.
So a lot of times you've been caring for kids and parents,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes simultaneously. So you're launching your kids, and then your parents are maybe struggling, and you are stuck on both sides of that. and it is hard. And your siblings are getting older too.
Mm-hmm.
I was having dinner with Brian. Brian just had a birthday. Gara's brother, my brother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the most wonderful dinner, and we're just looking at each other like, geez. I've known him since he was 21 years old. We have these
Wow.
3 kids who are all as tall as me. It's
Yeah.
nuts. Like
Yeah.
we're just the 6 of us are sitting there like this is a wild ride we're on.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because we can see in each other, and I think siblings go through this. We can see the changes in each other. We can see the changes in our parents.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting to come into this season of just like, my parents don't need much, but I'm their person if something comes up, I want to be helpful to them. And
Yeah.
then we also have these kids that are needing more and more, not as much physically, but the emotional investment
Mm-hmm.
and the financial. I mean, it's a lot. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot, right? So the other thing that can happen is a little bit of dementia, especially as we're getting into 70s and 80s. A little
Mm-hmm.
bit of dementia or a little bit of a struggle with memory. I've done couples counseling with people in this season of life, and one time I was meeting with this couple and I was like, I don't think either of you remember the fight. And they busted a gut and I laughed too, and they were like, I don't think we do either.
Oh my God, that's so
I was like,
funny. I
can
love
we
that.
just not litigate this one? Because we are
Right.
not spring chickens. None of us. I don't remember what happened last week. I know you don't. You know what I mean? So let's not fight
Like,
over
why are we fighting about it?
let's not fight over the particulars. And we had
That's
such a
so
laugh.
funny.
But it's the truth.
It is.
It's the truth, right?
That's so funny.
So when there's a true crime case with people in this age group, it's like
Mm-hmm.
surprising.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of one we've done. What
I was gonna say there, I feel in this age group,
yes. I'm trying to think. Have we done
I don't know if we have done one.
well, no, they were the victims. We've done some where they've been the victims of things. But
Well,
a domestic,
yeah. I feel like this age oftentimes are victimized pretty frequently because they're more vulnerable.
yes.
But I can't think of a case we've done, a domestic violence case.
Okay, well, I'm gonna find one. I'm gonna find
Okay.
one. Now, we've counseled people with some wild
Yes.
behaviors involving typically knives on the women's side. We did work with an older woman who that old song, bust the windows out your car, that song?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then we've seen a little bit of that. We've seen people get really mad at trucks. We've seen that. Trucks or other expenditures in this age
Oh
range.
my God.
But again, women, right?
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
I'm thinking of female examples.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Also, you know what else, Nat? I'm thinking as I'm looking at this. Let's say you have a couple where the man has been dominant, right? And
Mhm.
maybe intimidating. And as they're getting
Mhm.
older, they're less physically dominating and intimidating. This is when a
Mhm.
woman might retaliate in a big way
Mm.
because she can. And
Right.
women sometimes keep their health a little longer too. So like I wonder if they don't sometimes you know,
Mhm.
that's interesting. I haven't actually thought about that too much.
Mm.
So we always say this to our men's groups, but who stays angry longer physiologically, men or women?
Men.
That's right. And that is surprising always a little bit to our men's groups and to our women's groups. Women are like,
Yeah.
I'm mad forever. And it's like,
Yeah.
you're not wrong. But deep physical anger is a different thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a different thing. And I also think that for women, we are less receptive to feedback at
Mhm.
different parts of these stages
Mhm.
too,
Yes.
right? So what's a takeaway now? If we're talking about or talking to our listeners who are in all of these stages, like I've looked at our listenership, we have 16, 17-year olds all the way up to, I mean, our parents' age brackets and beyond.
Yeah.
So, what would you tell our listeners based on this kind of rundown of what's happening in our bodies and how it affects our relationships and our um, frustration tolerance and anger and all of that? What would you
Mhm.
tell people in their relationships?
Well, I think this helps you become more aware of what you're experiencing.
Hmm.
And so, for one, right, like have grace on yourself, but also, I think when we know more about where we're at, like stage of life, what's happening in our bodies, it
Hmm.
helps us respond differently
Hmm.
because it doesn't feel as out of control. It's like, okay, this is happening for a reason. And
Hmm.
so I can maybe do things that will be helpful for me to alleviate maybe the rage parts, or
Hmm.
if your hormones are all off, go talk to a doctor. Like there's things to help you feel a little bit better. But I think it just starts with being aware. Self-awareness is key.
Yeah, self-awareness and then seeing your partner
Mhm.
compassionately,
Mhm.
even if their behavior is frustrating. I think being able to see that they're struggling too,
Mhm.
and that anger is not just an emotion, that it is a biological state sometimes dictated in part by our emotions. It's not, or by our hormones.
Yeah.
It's not just our emotions. It's not just our circumstances.
Yes.
And this is the thing I think men learn later is our bodies can actually tell us how to feel. And
Mhm.
we have to learn how to manage that. I don't let my body tell me how to treat people, and I don't let my body tell me how to feel. But
Right.
when my body is overwhelming, sometimes I have to tell my partner, I'll tell Gary, I am so pissed right now and I don't even know why. Like I can't
Mhm.
even tie it to something. I'm just impatient or frustrated.
Mhm.
And he's a gent. So he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. What do you need?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I'm just mad. And then he'll stay out of the way for the most part
Yeah.
and help me whenever he can.
Yep.
But there's a kindness in that. And I'm trying to see him too and see where his energies are. And I've been
Yeah.
laughing with you about like, okay, we have to get ahead on the podcast because he's so tired at night. Because I see him, he'll come up and he just looks like death warmed over. And I'm like, oh,
Oh.
we are not 25 anymore. Like he cannot do this. We're like, we got to go to bed at 8. And then Garrett's like, oh my God, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I worked all day and I've been editing all night.
I know, poor Garrett.
I know he's doing good, but it's that just tenderness
Yeah.
for ourselves and for our people.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
So
So
good.
I know. So thanks for listening to me nerd out about hormones. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. But we're all in it. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
That's
wherever you are
true.
this week, Godspeed. Take
Oh
care of
my gosh.
yourself and the people around you. Be aware.
Literally.
Head on a
Literally.
swivel for yourself.
Oh my gosh.
You're your own
Yeah.
jump scare sometimes.
Yeah. Well, thanks for bringing this to us. I think this was a really good topic and it sets us up well for our continuation for the Clancy case on Friday.
Yes, tell them what are we getting into on Friday without going all the way into it. What can they look
Yeah.
forward to?
I think we're just going to not maybe, we're going to do some updates on what has been happening in the court stuff, but we're not going to do a deep dive into that because we already kind of did that already. But there's a lot of conspiracies, there's a lot of different thoughts that are happening. And then there's what they said happened, like what Lindsay
Hmm.
Clancy herself said happened. And so we're going to dive into that, how that impacts families, communities, and all of that. Like when we start to really tear cases apart and go super left on them, what that does. But then we're also going to talk a little bit more about um, potentially what she experienced
Hmm.
and what she went through if she did have postpartum psychosis.
Yeah, and there was an interesting thing that I saw about something that she said, and something that he said about the rest of her
Hmm.
life, like where she goes from here. And so I think that's an interesting thing to think about too, you know?
Yeah.
What does the
Yeah.
rest of her life look like? And is there any way to make something happen in the back
Hmm.
half of her life that's not all
Hmm.
just tragedy, you know?
Yeah. It's wild. There's some pretty, and yeah, we'll get more into it Friday, but there's some pretty intense opinions out there. And some of it I'm like, yeah, we'll get into it, but there's some opinions that I'm like, man, I like kind of understand where they're coming from. However, it's just like I mean, I pray that I never experience what she experienced, like
Yeah.
that kind of fear or just out of brain, out of body, if that's what she went through. I mean, I don't know, like that's
Mhm.
what the court is trying to decipher is if she was, if she
Maybe
had
we'll throw a
postpartum
poll.
psychosis.
We should throw a poll up on
Mhm.
social media and
Yes.
see kind of what people are
What
thinking.
is thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be curious.
Yeah, if we decide to do social media this week, you might see it.
We're fighting for our lives over
We
here.
are fighting for our lives. We really are. All right, y'all. Well, we will see you on Friday, as always.
Bye, forensic friends.
I'm Janine.
And I'm Nat.
And as always, thanks for listening and join us next week for more crime, psychology, and heart.